Hello and welcome to Zero Cool Gaming and today's TV review. Today I'm going to be reviewing the show called The $6 Million Man. Basically, this was a show that this guy gets injured and they rebuild him with a bunch of, uh, cybernetic arm, eyeball, legs, um, giving him, like super strength and super sight, super running speed, that sort of thing. Jump really high. And basically, the show goes through and kind of, in its own way, sets a setting of how would somebody with this type of ability live? What would they do with it? Um, it's put on a very basic level, though. And what I found interesting about it is that when I was reading through the different, I want to call them reviews of this, rather than hate, which is what I've been reading a lot lately, they didn't hate it. They just made fun of it for some of the most odd reasons. They compared it to um, comic books that were written at the time, saying that the show was childish and it's your, very um, comic book type hero and villain scenarios. And while I agree that this is a very simple premise that they put the show on in that respect and the writing that was put behind it, and I also do agree that it was based on comic books of the time. What I find interesting about this is that these people fail to realize that when this show came out was during a time that comics were selling millions of copies, and today they can't get a comic to sell 100,000. They have what, maybe six different comics that come out throughout the year that'll sell over 100,000. It's like they don't understand, or they don't want to understand that yes, this was based on very popular comics that sold millions, and people wanted to see more of that. Who would have guessed? Um, Other than that, it's a good show, though. I mean, it just like comics, it gives you a very um, baseline understanding of morals, and it shows you a heroine that, for the most part, has a strict adherence to those moral foundations that he believes in. Very cut and dry, very simple to understand, very easy to grasp. But nonetheless, it teaches basic morals and values and how to adhere to such things. I enjoyed the show. And I didn't enjoy the show necessarily because of the writing or the way that it's portrayed. I mean, it's just a step above what you'd find in comics. That's not a joke. But it was the sci-fi setting for me. That's why I enjoyed it. I mean, we can't make a I mean, today it'd probably be hundreds of millions, if not $1 billion, but we can't even do this with somebody yet today. And this was done back in the 70s. We're still trying to develop cybernetic, limbs and stuff to replace arms and legs that function as good and hopefully one day, yeah, better than your human arms, legs, or whatever that needs to be replaced. And it gives a very topical view of the situation. It never dives too deep into any subject. Um, Kind of like comic books of the time. I mean, they never dove too deep into any topic that they chose to cover. It was always a very topical view and very middle of the ground road that they tried to walk on. And because of that, yes, comics sold millions because people could read them and find some part of it that uh, they agreed with. Can't be said with the stuff they're producing today. I mean, and their sales prove that. You would think that they would want to stop, but it's obvious that they have an agenda to push and they're willing to literally drive themselves out of business to do so. I don't understand it. I don't grasp the reasoning to it, but I've definitely watched it happen over the years. So, yes, I find it interesting that these people would sit here and make fun of a show that emulates something that was very popular. Interesting, to say the least. And don't get me wrong, I mean, old comics are still very popular today. It's the newer stuff that isn't popular at all. People are more into manga today, and there's plenty of anime to represent that. But this was written during a different time. Um, but I didn't find a problem with it. I mean, it is kind of hard to watch today because, yeah, the acting's bad, the writing's bad, the special effects are bad, but it's a TV show. I mean, none of that's supposed to be Emmy winning type stuff. It's supposed to entertain you for, an hour a day, once every 2 or 3 weeks. I think these came out once a month or something. So, yeah, it's interesting to say the least to read these reviews on this show. Anyway, um, is it a good show? No, it's not. But it's something that I watched when I was younger, and I enjoyed it. I've tried, like I said, I tried watching again. It's kind of hard to get through them. But there's nothing wrong with them. I mean, it's very basic morals and values and applied to the world around him. Well, that's my review of the $6 Million Man, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.